Hello everyone, welcome to Masterworks. My name is Jason Meyer, and tonight I think you're going to be happy that we're here. So good evening, Miss Susan. So after the demo this morning, I wanted to go back, and I think we've seen all these paintings before, but I want to pay special attention to paint quality. See if you can imagine the sequence of events that have to happen in order for this paint quality to look like it does. One of the things you'll notice in what we're doing tonight, maybe this first one, but upon closer look you'll see that there's a lot of depth to these, and some of that comes with more than just a one shot, a two shot, or even a three shot, but many shots. So without getting, this was exactly what I was talking about for Susan the other day we were looking for. So let's see what we can get into here. Let's see what we can get into. All right, so this is David Gallup, and I believe him and his wife work together. A Southern California artist, or at least he was as of a few years ago. And this isn't of a resolution that we can get in here too tight. But after you have a second to take it in, I'd like to call your attention to a few things. All right, I mean, to me, this really feels like fish swimming underwater. But, I mean, if we're to really get in here and go, well, I know what it feels like, but what does it actually look like? How many fish are in here? One, and then three suggestions. Can you look closely at that? I really can't blow it up any larger. You're reading that as a fish moving through water. And what about this craziness happening up here? Did you see the thick paint laid up here abstractly? But there's really no eye, or there's no definition of even really a mouth here. All just suggested. As is this. Again, with a nice, make sure we see a fin or two. That's all he's given us here. Oops. Does that give you a few ideas, Susan? Does that give you a few ideas? We lost our, what happened? We lost our photos. There they go. There they go. You know, I thought this was one artist, but as I look closer, it may be, this one may be another Derek Phoenix. But the other painter I was talking about does these underwater scenes. His name is Gallup, Gallup. David Gallup. And I apologize if I got those names mixed up. All right, on we go. On we go. Oh, I've already seen her stuff for tomorrow. It's pretty impressive. So this artist is Douglas Fryer, and he does landscapes. And I wanted to get really close in here on his. So this would be like a foreground, introducing you to either some trees or buildings back in the back. But I hope after today's demo, you can get a little better sense of what it takes. And the only thing about this morning was I never paint that fast. And if you slow down and do these layers over time, with all these different marks, your canvas will literally read like a history. And I don't know. I don't know that there's any substitute for that quality. You know, kind of a la Prima and other things, you can get a freshness. But this is a shape. Do you guys see this? This dark is a shape. Did you realize that was shapes before? Did you realize these gray shapes were possible? And then how does it feel when the shape is literally lifted off of the canvas like a plateau? So you get a whole geography, basically. Geology. Right? I can still see the weave of the canvas right here. I see in some places where he's scraped back to just knock the top of the weave of the canvas. Again, so what kind of paint quality is it going to take to make each of these marks? Oops, Miss Cindy. I got to quit putting you guys up there. It doesn't let me, keeps taking my screen over. But Miss Cindy's back there taking care of everything. Okay, a canal in Venice, huh? Where are you gonna go here? Where are you gonna go? Right, are we gonna finish right here? Do we have any choice? Alright, so let's do an experiment. Let's put this way over there. Where does your eye go? Where does your eye go? It goes over here, right? Okay. Let's move this way over here, and where's your eye gonna go? Alright. What about if we... Where's your eye gonna go? Isn't that interesting? Can you see how this is almost the stain of the canvas? Very, very thin, and then with a few thick marks that will build to the climax. Is this and this similar to our first and second orange this morning? Right, but I want you to notice all the different, this is completely abstract in a way through here, but notice still each section has its own quality. Right, so even as you're going into this kind of crazy mushiness that you can get with oil paint, right, that idea of variety is so important. Look how these silhouettes, right, are so effective. Do you guys see how these are simply silhouettes? And it's not all hard-edged. What is this edge? Well, right, even this edge is going to be harder than... So what does that help you do? It helps you go over to here, to this side. And then look how soft he's kept you there so that you keep going. So I hope this morning I helped you to begin to unlock the mystery of how this is happening. How is this possible? Oh, Miss Katie, good to see you. I just said I was going to stop doing that. What do I do? I go and do it. So, hi, Miss Katie. Okay, see, just barely stain of the canvas changing, and look how we go from starting to come into something to bang, now we're there. You see this? There's almost a half step. Boom. You know, if I'm to be honest with you guys, stuff like that right there, man, I've had a good life. I've had a good life. That's enough. That's enough. I mean, just the abstract paint as itself is just so gorgeous. So don't get so caught up in distances and looking and that you forget that oil paint in itself has something to offer. Right? What kind of potential is in the paint? And the potential is so much greater than any kind of matching. Do you guys see how brilliant this climb is to our climax? I mean, just look how brilliant and interesting all of that is in our lightest light. A little detail, not too much. A negative shape. Hey, Shakti, this reminds me of a dreadlock. Just saying. Just saying. I hope you guys have this on a big enough screen. I've got it on a pretty big 27-inch 5K screen here, and it is, I'm having a hard time talking about it. All right, shall we keep moving? Hi, Katie. Yeah, surface quality tonight. Oops, did I skip? There we go. All right, back to our friend Odd Eardrum. But so this is a close-up of a painting of his, but I want to really get in there. I want to really get in there. And I want to look at this soft edge compared to that hard edge. Notice how he used a literally a rise of light paint to harden up that edge right there. Do you see that? Kind of interesting, huh? And look, palette knife or razor. I've heard that he takes razors and scrapes. And I think I might have even seen him do that, but you can see it here. Softening the edges. But again, can you see the history of the canvas here? Right? It doesn't feel like a one and done thing. Do you guys see the beauty of all this paint? Anybody got a few das? Some doo-wop? Backup singers. Right, so we have our white. We have our white. Right, so little things like that I like to notice. I like to notice. So where is it highlighted? So highlight. So that's not an edge. It's not an edge. It's a center. center. So he's running us down the center of this form. Do you guys see that? So that helps this part literally feel like it's coming forward. And then he's pushing back. And so why are these sides not exactly the same? If he's pushing back on this side and he's pushing back, one's going to go through shadow, one will go through air. Okay, and this way it doesn't become a tunnel. Did you guys notice how nice this dark shape releases and connects? Did you compare this eye to this eye? Oof, huh? Oof, oof, oof. How are we doing? All right, let's see what else we got here. I think we got some more up our sleeves. Wait a minute, we missed a couple. We missed one. Oh, that was my grand finale there. Gave away. We'll come back to that. Don't worry, we're going to get back to that one. But I thought today might be a good day to take another close-up of a Lefel. Even in the shadow, it's alive. Even in the shadow, it's alive. And look, it's like we're pulled towards the light. It's like without even knowing where we're supposed to go, we're pulled in that direction. Do you feel pulled? Do you feel pulled? Do you guys notice how quiet this leaf is? When you compare it to the edge of that leaf, and look how nice that leaf releases. I can't broadcast it. Susan feels the pull. Susan feels the pull. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? All right, and then how does in front of differ than, how does in front of the objects differ from behind? Are we keeping the value behind but losing color and going gray? Not so dark and rich, but slightly lighter and grayer. Darker, richer, lighter, grayer, lighter, and then more colorful to lighter, grayer. Look at that beautiful soft edge right there. Okay, you know what this means, guys. You know what this means. I'm not going to accept your old tabletops anymore. You're going to have to up the game on your tabletop game. You guys have to up your tabletop game. Warmer, cooler. Yeah. So, warmer, cooler. You feel how this is warm right here? And then we step out without a sense of white. I know there's some white here. That's more of the canvas coming through. But then slowly we get this coolness where you can feel white's been introduced. But it's still quite colorful. But there's quite a bit of white there. And then look, from this green and yellow, boom, gray purple. So the gray purple becomes dominant. And since we prefer the warm side of the spectrum, and since we prefer the warm, and we're going to be looking here anyway, look how much more there is here than there is in the gray. All right, I literally could go on for years and years and years about any square inch of this. So obviously we're overexposed there. You know, cameras really don't like to do that high dynamic range unless you got an expensive camera and good lights. Right, but cameras prefer to work in a smaller value range. So if there's a high dynamic value range, unless you got a high-end camera, it doesn't like picking it up. All right, you guys ready for the finale I've already given away? Should we save a little time for this last one? Save a little time for the last one. Say your goodbyes, your farewells, your adieus to a tabletop. To a tabletop. Before we leave, though, can I ask you a question? Where's there more flat paint? Did you notice that one of the reasons that the orange is so strong, because if you look at, say, this, an area like this, look at how many changes are down here. Take almost any area down here. And you see how they're quiet, but it's like a constant change? Well, there's a certain weakening with those changes. And so when you get to something that's more constant and flatter, it's going to be much stronger than those others. Say a shadow, even the light, even these pieces here. Do you see? I mean, even this little bitty grape, look at how much flatter it is than, say, that. Or even that. Okay, so just something to keep your eye on. Something to keep your eye on. And finally, why don't we end with this tonight? So, I forgot to look up his name right before I came on. But it's Steve, I don't know if it's Ansel or Ansel, but I believe he's on the East Coast, and he does some crazy stuff like this. Crazy stuff. So I'm going to give you just a second to take this in before we dive in. Before we dive in. So what do you think? What do you think? How about those eyeballs? Huh? How about those eyeballs? Oh. Oops, I almost going to put it up there. So Katie asked, could that have cold wax medium? Yeah, actually this came off, he was advertising, I don't know if it was particularly a medium's workshop, but it was about different paint qualities. And so there's a variety of mediums in here. But look how this kind of viscosity works different than this thinner stuff versus, right? And then you got that flatter, thinner stuff there. You think he doesn't seem like he's worried about that. Look, he took the black of the eye. Whoop! Doesn't seem worried about it. Big, flat, simple underplane. Vague, and then a little more specific. Vague, a little specific. Can you see a grow here? Small. Rest, rest, rest. A little louder. Rest, rest. A little bit. Rest. Here we go. Boom. Speaking of warm and cool, here's a green and a red, or orange, however you want to see that. That's a warm and cool. That'll work. So notice as it goes through air, it's that green, but the shadow is more red. Pick that up. That's important because if you reverse those, you're not going to get the solidity that you get out of this. So hauntingly beautiful. Yeah, I'm telling you, oil paint has a life. It has a life. And I don't know, some of these guys are oil paint whisperers, I guess. Oil, one of the things I think is most beautiful, look at this climax. Right, so a climax of nothingness. Do you guys see that? That's gray. But you can't tell me that's not a climax right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is nice right there. Look at how these three notes just work so beautiful together. Right? And then when it's time to get on stage, it's a different energy, man. The lights are on, the audience is watching. It's different, but as you step backstage, you got to see what you're doing, but it's kind of a different mood. It's a little more mellow. Things are letting go. Right? And anybody up there on stage, they can see all this stuff and junk that's all around there. But all the audience sees is a big shadow. Spellbinding. Yeah. All right, guys. So I hope you got to see the demo this morning. If you didn't, I recommend taking a look at that. Speed it up to 2 times, but you'll notice that this stuff isn't a one-time thing. It's not a one and done kind of thing. It's a build up and a little bit looser. So once again, I hope I've expanded your imagination a little bit and maybe pointed out some things that are possible that you didn't realize were possible before. And that's what an artist is about. It's about riding that imagination, riding that dolphin of the imagination. Look at that, 7:29. All right, everybody. I hope you guys had a blast today. I had a good time. We'll be back in the morning at 8 o'clock a.m. And everybody that's turned everything in that I checked last time, I'm going to get to. So we're going to have a full great show tomorrow. So tune in for that for Morning Jumpstart. All right, until next time. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.